Welcome back to the Crypto Father channel. I'm the Crypto Father. Today is the 16th of March. I'm laughing because I keep messing up my introductions. If this is your first time to the channel, smash up the like, subscribe to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing some prep work for the upcoming MeowPow algo mining. I had my rig turned off for the last few days, actually for over a week, I think, because I live in South Korea and the energy costs are exorbitant. They're super high. It's like we're paying 20 cents per kilowatt, and that gets bumped up to even more depending on the amount of consumption per household. So it goes up, I think, to something ridiculous like 29 cents per kilowatt, so or even more than that. So I had to cut down a little bit on our expenses because our electricity bill for the months were ridiculously high, so I had to get it down, and I'm hoping that the MeowPow algo is going to be epic and I'll be able to turn it back up and start mining meowcoin again. And also in the process I realized something, but before I go on to our rant, let's hop over to Hive OS. So I just fired up this bad boy. The 2080 Super started off at 30 mega hash per second and it dropped down to 27, which is unfortunate. I'm not sure why, because the 28 Super is the one that I just changed the heat pads on, the electric pads on, and so that's unfortunate. I'm not sure why it does that. 3060s is what it was, and 2070 is at 21, and everything else dropped as well. Actually, these 104s dropped down from 17 down, and I think I have them turned down anyway because I've got them set to 140. These are all overclocks, and I was told to set it to not set the clocks, to not lock the clocks and let it run. But I did that once on a testnet and the rig wouldn't start up. So today I'm gonna try to do that again and see what happens. So this is why I started up again, because I want to prep the rig before the launch. The launch is in 2 days. Today's the 16th. The launch, the new miner starts on the 18th. We're gonna be shifting over to the new miner at block 825,000, I believe, which is going to happen in 2 days time. So I'd like to have this rig ready. And as I was just the past couple of days, I was looking at different GPUs. I mean, every day I try to see if there's anything interesting. I always scour the markets for new GPUs. I use GPUs to try to scoop up some at a reasonable price, and I oftentimes come across AMD cards, and I realized that all my cards are NVIDIA cards, and I realized that that basically, or Gigabyte, I guess, or Zotac, I guess, but I realized that having AMD cards would be a lot better in South Korea for the purpose of energy efficiency, because AMD cards are so much more efficient. It's insane. Let me just show you. So these are the rates here on the gigahash, or so the hash production here on my cards, and I just found a 6650 RX, 6650 XT. Right here. This is the one for about $300, I think. And on meowcoin, it produces the same hash as the 104, but with only 75 watt consumption. This one, these eat up 140, and I guess if I open them up, actually that's what we're gonna do. Let's see if I can reset all these. We'll put these to zeros. Maybe not this one. I mean, this is, I've got this one memory. This memory is set to 1400, but it doesn't make a difference. Not really. The hash is the same, about the same. So, yeah, let's see if this changes anything. But basically, yeah, gotta give it a minute. But it seemed to me like the AMDs are so much more power efficient, and they produce the exact same amount of hash. So right now my entire rig is pulling 1200, 1300 kilowatts per day on MeowPow mining meowcoin, and yeah, so this doesn't change anything at all. And it feels like if I had been if I had AMD cards instead, I mean, I would have been saving a lot more energy. Yeah, so this power consumption just jumped up from 140. I had it at 140, went up to 181. So these cards pull a lot of electricity on without any clocks open. And basically I have to set them, turn them down to a reasonable amount so they don't kill my electricity budget entirely. So it looks to me like, oh crap, yeah, it's heating up now excessively. It seems to me like a better choice would have been to stick to AMD cards in South Korea, because they seem to be a lot more energy efficient. And the one beef that I have is running AMD and NVIDIA cards together on the same rig, because I've heard people say that this can lead to problems. Just having two different cards could lead to issues, not necessarily, but from what I gathered was people were experiencing a bit more issues with having both cards. Both cards run at the same time on the same rig. And so this is on MeowPow. So I'm not even gonna start fiddling around. I wanna switch over to MeowPow and show you how these rigs or these GPUs do on MeowPow. Right now I'm pulling 1338, so that jumped up because of this GPU. Let's leave it open and switch over to a new flight sheet. And don't judge, okay? I've got a bunch of stuff here. Some of it I've mined, some of them I didn't. SCD, I don't remember. Oh, Cedra coin I tried to mine. It was impossible to set up for some reason, I think. No, I did mine some Cedra coin. Game R plant, I didn't mine. ETI, I didn't mine. Zeph, I mined a little bit. Zeph, I can't remember. meowcoin set up right here. I think this is it, because it's set on solo. No, that's not it. This is it. meowcoin miner. Oh yeah, okay. All right, so let's fire this puppy up. Wait, so let's have a quick look here. So we've got yeah, 27 mega hash on the 2080 Super, 16 on the 104, except for this one. I think this may be the see if I close all of this up, see if that does anything other than keeping. See the power, I have the power set to 180, and this one only pulls 58, but it also produces a lot less hash. And it's always this one card that is like that. Very weird. Okay, anyway, let's go to the flight sheet and fire up meowcoin miner and see how that does. So let's give this rig a minute or two to do its thing. All right, I was trying to set up my testnet wallet. I'm not sure why it's not working, but okay. So my GPUs, I've been running on MeowPow for a few minutes now. 6 minutes, is that right? Yeah, 6 minutes ago changed. And so the 2080 Super is producing 28 mega hash. So basically we're at 192 mega hash altogether. The 28 Super produces 34 mega hash, which is, I guess, 7 mega hash more. The P104, the open one, is at 17 and it's gobbling up 181 watts, while the P104 with its setting with the clocks is producing almost 19. The one below is producing almost 20 with the core settings here. And this one is still at 9, hasn't changed. And the RTX 2060 hasn't changed. And the 2070 hasn't. No, it went up. I guess it was 23, now it's 29 mega hash. So the P104s are doing well with overclocks at 140 watts. When it's opened up, it's not doing great. So let's change that to the same settings. I guess they said memory clock. See if that changes things. Oh, whoa, I've been fiddling around with trying to set up the test wallet, and in the meantime, this GPU jumped up to 20 mega hash on the 110, but it's still sucking up 179 watts of power, which is quite high. Let's see if I lower it. The power limit to 140, see what happens. All right, so power dropped down to 140 for now. Give it a few minutes. Wonder if I can bring it down even further. We'll test that as well. Had to change because the room got suddenly a bit too warm with the rig running in the back. So for the core clocks, I've got these three, 1, 2, 3. I set them at 110, 1100 memory and 140 power limit, because without the limit they tend to suck up a lot of energy. So that's the P104, and they're all pulling close to 20, well, 18 and 1976, 1901. This one's completely open here. This is the lowest card, so let's set that memory to 11, see if that does anything. This card's always finicky, so not sure. The one thing I wonder about is the the 2080 Supers, because last time I turned down memory to 1100 on the Super, especially the 2080 Super, man, that's a finicky one. I think everything crashes. The rig just stops mining if I turn it down to 1100 memory. So I'm gonna give this one here a minute. Yeah, that's not changing anything. I mean, the power consumption is great, but it's not changing anything. And I don't think it's the card. Yeah, so there's no changes on this card. I don't know what that is. Don't know what that is. But the other ones, the first one is back up to 20 mega hash. I got 18, 90, and 19. So that's wild how these differ. Now all of a sudden they differ. On MeowPow they're running at the same rate. See if I remove the power limit. On these cards, see if all of them pull the 170. That wouldn't be too good. 170 watts is not a good thing. My lights are flickering. I think the cards are juicing up. Yeah, no. So as soon as I remove the power limit, these cards jump up to 170 watts. So let's see if I drop it to 130. Will that be doable? 180 even. Dang, that's a lot. That'll start heating up very quickly. I was at 1400 kilowatts. That's not good. Not good at all. So okay. So the first one is at 130. It immediately dropped down to 129 watt consumption, 120, 130, and 182. But of course, hash rate dropped significantly and went from 20 on this one to 18, only 1687, which is the regular one. I just changed the core on the 2080 Super. I dropped it down to 0. I opened it up. We'll see what that does. It's at 34 mega hash for now. Let's give it a couple of minutes. Hasn't done much right now. 34, that stayed the same. Let's see if I drop down the memory clock. And how about dropping power limit to 40 or opening it up altogether? Just leave it like that. So I opened up the 2080, 1100 memory, and then opened up the core and no power limit. Whoa, okay, so after a couple of minutes, the 2080 Super power consumption went to 249 watts, and the hash dropped to 30. So that's no good. So let's change that back to, it was 140, was doing great. Let's see what it does at 130. It maxed out at 34 mega hash, so at 140 power limit. So let's see what it does at 130. Okay, so the 130 power limit dropped it down to 20 mega hash. What in the world? That's no good. What was it? Was it 180? Maybe it was 180. Let's do 180. I think, yeah, maybe it was at 180. 200 was certainly, or opening it up was certainly not a great idea. And after a little while, it's back up to 30. Not at 34 though. Once you start fiddling around with settings, man, the cards don't jump back up to their regular performance. It always takes a little while for them to return. So essentially, these cards are doing a little bit better. The P104s. I don't need to have the core power settings on them technically. But with the old settings, they're doing the same. 19. So I mean, on MeowPow, they're outperforming CowPow in any case. But with the settings, even the settings that I had on CowPow, their performance is the same as with the changed settings, I guess. Let's see. Every card is different, so they all seem to be doing their own thing. I'll open the core, but I'll keep the power limits to 140 because otherwise those P104s tend to be gazzlers. While I'm doing all this, might as well announce the 8th giveaway, the 8th meowcoin giveaway. So for this one, it'll be simple. Head on over to my Twitter profile, the Crypto Father, and I'm gonna make a post. Here. It'll include a link to this video. Once you're here, make sure you find the post for this video right now. Ready for MeowPow. Type in meowcoin new wallet giveaway 8, hashtag meowcoin new wallet giveaway 8, and my handle at CryptoFather48. And that's the post that you need to retweet this post or repost this post with a quote, and make sure to include the right hashtags and the handle so that I can find it easier, and then we'll be ready to go. In the meantime, let's check out our performance, the performance on these GPUs. All right, so the P104s dropped, so they went from 19 mega hash to 18 mega hash, still at 140. So the one card I'm afraid of touching is the Zotac 3060, man, because that thing is finicky, and as soon as I start fiddling around with it, I know that it just does whatever the heck it wants to do. It'll shut off randomly or whatever, but yeah, I think when I had memory clock set to over 2300, and I was told that this was going to happen as well, the card just stops. The fans stop, and it stops producing hash at over 2300 memory. So I guess maybe if I set it to 1100, should be okay. But okay, let's screw it. Let's have a look. We'll open up the core here, set this to 11, and let's see if I can lower the power limit. 140. I mean, ultimately, I would love to bring down all the power. If I could drop my overall power consumption to whatever, the lowest one possible, while still maintaining my hash rate, that would be great. Okay, so the hash on the 3060 dropped down, and the rig is quieter. It's got a lower power consumption here. It's only dropped down a little bit from 23 and a bit to 22. So what are we at overall here? 190 mega hash. Still overall much better than on MeowPow. What if I open this up? What's gonna happen? Let's try opening it up and see what happens if I open up this sucker. But that's gonna start sucking up like over 200 watts probably. Okay, so with open power on this power limit on the 3060, we're at 22 mega hash, which is a little bit lower. So it's a drop down. I guess 180 was, it forced the card to pull a little bit more power, and it was producing a bit more mega hash. So a bit more hash for the bit more bang for the buck. The two lower P104s remain at 1973 at a lower power consumption, so that's good. That's actually really good. 130, and they're at 1980. These guys are at 1880, so if I lower this down, I wonder if it's gonna... Let's try. If the hash remains the same for these two, then that would be great if I could lower power consumption and still keep the hash at the same level. I'm sure that with time, we'll probably see a few more settings on MeowPow when MeowPow is released. Sure, there's going to be... HiveOS has these options. When you go into flight sheets, you can change the overclock settings for the preferences. You can go, if you go here, it always gives you like the popular settings. Right now on meowcoin, you only have settings for CowPow, obviously, or Kapow, whatever. I call it CowPow. I guess K-O-W, Kapow. Okay, Kapow. It only has settings for Kapow, preference settings for Kapow for the particular card, and there are none for MeowPow. So I assume that once meowcoin switches over to MeowPow, we'll see a lot more popular settings here, presets. So hopefully that's gonna pop up over time, and we'll see how things go. But right now, and some of these, I mean, they don't always work. I've had cards set up at these levels, and you know, I usually choose like the highest level, but then they don't always work. So all these settings function differently on different cards, and I wonder what results people get on these different settings. But from my experience, the top one is not always the best, with my cards at least. So again here, the two bottom P104s are at 1961, 1969, and then here the top one is 1985, and then the two bottom ones, it's 1860 and 1874. This one's finally pulling 11 mega hash, and power consumption is set to 130 on all of them, except for this one, because this one, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I do with this card, literally. I think I had like stupid power settings set to, I don't remember what numbers, 200 something watts, and it was still doing the same thing. It was just keeping the hash rate and power consumption rate. It doesn't matter what I set the power level to, it remains pretty low. So right now it's 61 watts, and I'd be surprised to see it go up. Yeah, it went down even further to 41. That's what I mean. This card, I don't know. No idea. So I don't think it's the card, it's the motherboard connection, or maybe the riser. Could be the riser. I don't know what riser. There's one riser that's different than the rest. Maybe this is it. Who knows? Maybe I gotta check the riser. It is an old riser. This particular one. I bought a bunch of new risers, and I've got one old riser. That this may be the one that I should check that. All right, so I've got the RTX 3060. It dropped down from, as soon as I started fiddling with the power, it dropped down to 22 mega hash, and it stays there. But the RTX 2070 is doing quite well. It's close to the 2080 Super, which is disappointing. Let's change the core. What was it at 200? 2200, I think. No, I think it was set to 3000 core. My notes. See what I mean? Like it just dumps to 28, and so did the RTX 2070. Went down to 28. Okay. Give it a minute. Yep, at 3000 memory core memory, The 2080 Super is back up at 34 mega hash, so that's the sweet spot. I wonder if it could do more. The 2070 is doing super great, 2959 mega hash. The 3060 is at 2234. Let's see if I can rank up. So I think the core memory was at 2000. Let's see if that changes it, because I think I had it at 2000 before. No, it says I hit it at 1100. So, but the 1100's wasn't working very well. Yeah, so 2000 memory on the 3060 gives me 23.7 mega hash. I think if I put it up at 2300, it crashes. But at 2000, it's good to go. 2070, I haven't touched the 2070 yet. I'm afraid it's doing so well. I mean, it's testing, so yeah, screw it. Let's go. We'll get rid of the Overclock. And I'm pretty sure that if I set this down, it'll do the same thing. We'll get rid of the power limit. Okay. Yeah, so setting the core on the 2070 drops the hash to only 20 mega hash. Power consumption remains the same, basically 178, so that's no difference, but the hash is lower. So let's bring that back up to 2000. I'll keep the power limit on 0 and see what happens. Alright, so it's been a couple of minutes here. The 2070 is back up at 29 mega hash, 2000 core. Open power limits, it's pulling 174 watts, so that's not bad. So basically the memory is what has the 20 and 30 GPU series running at higher mega hash. I guess I wonder if I could push it even further. Let's see, 2100. Yeah, that doesn't seem to make a lot of difference here. So 2000, 2100 is pretty much the same. Oh, this one dropped down. Okay, so maybe the power supply on these, maybe better at 140. I guess the more power these suckers have, the better they perform. Let's see if I put up these, the P104s back up to 140 power limit. Although, I mean, these two at the bottom are doing quite well. 1900. These cards, like, it always varies. 900 memory. That pumped it up a little bit, but I'm wondering if I change core. This one here at the bottom's got 900, both of them, these two, 900 memory and 130 power, and they're doing over 19 mega hash. And so is this one, it seems. Okay, let's check that. 900. And of course the other one drops down. Yeah, we'll give it a couple of minutes. I just opened up the power on the 3060, and that hasn't changed the hash, so that's good. I mean, it would have been nice if it pumped it a little bit more. 3060 hasn't really changed since from the Kapow to MeowPow. It's pretty much the same. The P104 is at 17. Oh, good. All right, I'm gonna continue fiddling around with this, and there is a flight sheet. There is a sheet that's basically gives all the results you can check out. So there's some of the cards that are here is AMD Radeon 7. There's an RTX 3080 Ti, an RTX 4090, 2080, 3070, 26 Super, I guess. 2060 Super Vega. So there are a couple of AMDs as well, 1660s, and so all of them are doing pretty well. Typical mining improvement overall at 40%, but so you can check out that sheet. I'm just entering my data here in it, and I will do that for you. I'll post a link to this. Cool. That's it for this video. I think I'm gonna close it up with this. If you are in the mood and you're feeling generous, if you feel like you want to support the channel, then you know, please do. Please do. That would be much appreciated. Hop over to the main page, click the join button, and become a crypto kitten or a crypto cat. Also, there is a store. I did create a store. Unfortunately, it's not available to people in Korea. However, I have been informed that you can access it from other countries, so you should have no problems with that. And in the store, you can I created some pillows, some mugs. These mugs, I really like this mug. I'm gonna pick one up myself, I think. These are metal camping mugs. There are hoodies with the logo I am 95.6% Tiger, with crypto for good on the back. And there's also a coffee mug with the same logo. I'm gonna call it the 95.6% series. I might add something to it, so if you want to check that out, then head on over. I should post, since I'm talking about this, I'm gonna post a discount link. I think I can create a discount link so for the early comers, so I might create that. And but check it out. Let me know in the comment section below if you'd like to order. If you do, then great. And I think I'm gonna create that discount link, so I'll share that later with you in the community tab on the channel, so check those out as well. I'm going to put out an announcement for this video. Remember to follow the steps that I mentioned in this video in order to be eligible for the airdrop, meowcoin airdrop, the 8th meowcoin airdrop that's going to take place over this week. And I'll be dropping everything on next Saturday, so you'll have 1 week to follow everything and to do everything that you need to do to get yourself 1,000 meowcoin. Meowcoin's pumping right now, so get in on that action. Also, remember to hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and like the video, and share the video with everybody else. Thank you all for tuning in and for always watching my videos, and I will see you in the next one. Laters.